What's going on, everybody? Today's project is going to show you step by step how to complete your own epoxy grout installation. Let's get into the video. Hey everybody, this is the last project in my bathroom remodel series, so feel free to check out my channel if you want to see how I did the other projects as part of the build. So for my bathroom, I chose to use Kerapoxy CQ, which is a two-part epoxy grout. Once you're ready to start grouting, open up your epoxy grout package, which is going to have a part A component, which I'm holding there, and then the part B component in the bucket on the ground. What you're going to need to do is take all of the curing agent and hardener from part A and put it all in part B. And once you have everything out, probably using a margin trowel to ensure that you get everything out, you can go ahead and mix it up using a drill and a paddle mixer. Next, go ahead and mix up part A and part B per the manufacturer's instructions for your epoxy grout. So in case you're undecided about what type of grout to use, I wanted to go over a couple advantages and drawbacks. So epoxy grout is great because it won't crack, shrink, discolor, and it lasts a really long time. It also is completely waterproof and doesn't need to be sealed. The drawbacks is that it's extremely difficult to apply, it sets really quickly, it's expensive, and there's a grout haze that can set up on the tiles if you don't remove the grout immediately. So once I had my epoxy grout all mixed up, I went into my bathroom and I started applying the grout to my shower pan in small batches. So the way I'm smearing the grout into the grout lines is at a 45-degree angle, and I'm using an epoxy handheld float, which I actually didn't love too much. It was the one-hand version and I couldn't get a lot of pressure, so I switched over to what you're seeing there. At this point, I kept on applying the grout at a 45-degree angle, making sure that I was filling all of the voids thoroughly. As an FYI, I tried to avoid getting epoxy grout in between the intersection of the walls and shower pan because I want to fill that with caulk and use it as an expansion joint later. Once I had thoroughly filled all of the grout lines, I went ahead and started removing the excess grout by turning my float at a 90-degree angle. That's going to do a good job to remove most of the grout from the face of the tiles, and then you just need to go back and do some fine removal with a sponge. And here I am doing just a final cleanup, removing any of the bulk epoxy grout that's left over on the face of the tile, and then I use that to fill the shower curb joints with epoxy grout as well. Once everything was filled up, I went and I started working on some other aspects of the shower. Well, my brother came in with some sponges that you're seeing there, and he used a little bit of water and just a couple drops of Dawn dish detergent in order to remove any of the epoxy grout that was left on the face of the tiles. At this point, he switched over to some less abrasive sponges and used a little bit of grout haze remover to make sure there was no haze left over on the face of the tile. And at this point, he's just doing the final touch-up work, removing any epoxy grout that got into the drain and doing a final cleanup. Here's a look at the wall tiles that I was grouting as he was cleaning up. And at this point, we moved over to the shower walls. Obviously here it's a herringbone pattern, so we have a lot of grout lines. So I'm essentially just smearing that all over the tile at a 45-degree angle. And if you do have large format tiles like I did on my bathroom walls, you can just focus your grouting efforts on the grout lines between the tiles. There's no need to smear grout all over the face of the tile. But for this herringbone pattern where we have so many grout lines, I just went over everything and then removed it with a 90-degree sweep of my grout float. And we just applied grout to all of the walls the same way we did for the shower pan, and then cleaned it the exact same way my brother did for the shower pan. Once you've given your epoxy grout some time to dry, the last step is to go ahead and caulk the expansion joints at the floor and also between the wall intersections. And here's a look at the final product. Overall, super happy with the result. Looks pretty good, and I should have a nice grout that's not going to stain or discolor that lasts for a very long time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like down below, and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more DIY content like this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.